You're gripping your phone in the dark, staring at a text message you sent 3 days ago, asking when the crew is showing up. There's no reply. You look at the plywood covering your living room window, and then you look at your bank app showing a massive, painful zero balance because you just wrote a huge check to a guy named Dave. Dave seemed like a straight shooter. Dave had business cards and a fancy truck, but Dave is a ghost. And right now, you're realizing you just paid a complete stranger thousands of dollars to fix your house, and he vanished into thin air. Take a breath. You aren't the first person to get burned by a contractor, and you won't be the last. But you need to know exactly how the legal system treats this situation, because what you do in the next 10 minutes matters. Remember, this is education about how the rules work, not legal advice for your specific mess. The exact laws change depending on where you live, and a local attorney is always your best guide for your exact zip code. First, let's understand exactly what happened. When you handed Dave that deposit, you entered into a legally binding agreement without stepping inside a courtroom. You created what the law calls a breach of contract. A breach of contract simply means that two people made a deal, money was exchanged, and one person completely failed to hold up their end of the bargain. When you pay someone to do a job, the law expects them to either do the job or give you your money back. If they do neither, they have breached the contract. Your first move is to firmly establish this breach on paper. You need to send a demand letter. A demand letter is a formal written request telling the person exactly what they owe you and giving them a strict deadline to pay it. You don't need a lawyer to write a demand letter. You write it yourself, keeping it totally plain and strictly factual. You write that on a specific date, you paid a specific amount of money for a specific service. You state that the service wasn't performed and the refund wasn't issued. You give them a firm deadline to return the cash. Send it through the mail using a service that requires a signature when it arrives. Keep the tracking number. You're building a wall of proof. But maybe Dave doesn't care about a letter. A lot of these guys just throw mail in the trash. If you've to chase Dave into the legal system, you'll likely end up in a place called small claims court. Small claims court is a special branch of the justice system designed for regular people to resolve disputes involving smaller amounts of money without needing to hire expensive lawyers to represent them. Every state sets its own maximum limit for these courts, but let's use a common figure. In many places, you can sue for up to $10,000. That limit varies wildly, so check your local court's website. When you sue Dave in small claims court, you aren't trying to put him in jail. Breach of contract is generally a civil matter, meaning the dispute is strictly between private citizens over cash. It isn't a criminal matter where the police show up and use handcuffs. The judge looks at your proof, looks at Dave, and decides who owes what. You gather every text message, the signed contract, the canceled check, and the receipt showing Dave signed for your demand letter. You file the paperwork at the courthouse, pay a small filing fee, and the court will do something called serving the defendant. Serving the defendant just means the court legally delivers the lawsuit paperwork to the person you're suing, so they know they have to show up and answer to a judge. You get your day in court, you show the judge your stack of evidence, and the judge issues a ruling. Let's say the judge agrees with you. The judge issues a judgment. A judgment is a formal court order stating that this person officially owes you this specific amount of money. That feels like a massive win, and it absolutely is a huge step in the right direction. Being licensed simply means they registered officially with the state and paid a fee to legally do business. To get that license, a contractor usually has to buy something called a surety bond. A surety bond is a special type of financial guarantee. Think of it as an insurance policy that the contractor buys, but it doesn't protect the contractor. It totally protects you, the customer. If a licensed contractor takes your money and doesn't do the work, you can file a direct claim against his bond. You're essentially making a claim against that financial insurance policy. If the bonding company reviews your evidence and agrees that the contractor ripped you off, the bonding company will cut you a check for your lost money. Once the bonding company pays you, they'll immediately go after the contractor to get their money back. The contractor will absolutely lose his license, and he will be forced to pay back the bonding company, or he won't ever work legally again. Filing a bond claim is often the absolute fastest way to recover your lost cash. There are also specific state consumer protection laws designed to punish contractors who operate completely without a license. Operating without a license means the person never bothered to register with the state government at all. In many states, if an unlicensed contractor takes your money, you might have the legal right to recover double or even triple the amount he stole from you. These laws are built to heavily penalize people who operate entirely outside the system. How do you find out if Dave is licensed and bonded? You look up your state's contractor licensing board online. Every state has an official website where you can simply type in a name or a license number. The official site will instantly tell you if his license is currently active, if it's suspended, or if it never existed in the first place. It will also give you the exact name of his bonding company and his insurance agent. Armed with that exact information, you call the bonding company directly. You tell them Dave took your deposit, breached the contract, and vanished. You ask for the claims department and you file your official complaint. You should also file a formal complaint with the state licensing board. The licensing board has the absolute authority to investigate bad contractors, heavily fine them, and revoke their right to ever work in the trades again. A contractor absolutely hates getting a letter from the state board. The threat of losing their entire livelihood often makes a ghost contractor reappear very quickly and beg to make things right. You might be wondering where a lawyer fits into all of this mess. Generally speaking, if your lost deposit is within your local small claims court limit, you don't necessarily need to hire a lawyer to represent you. Small claims court is designed for you to represent yourself. But if you lost a massive amount of money, way over the small claims limit, you need to consult a local attorney immediately. A lawyer can formally file a larger lawsuit in a higher court. They can also use a powerful tool called discovery. Discovery is a formal legal process where your lawyer can legally force the contractor to hand over his hidden bank records, his business documents, and his personal financial information. You can't legally do discovery in small claims court, so you definitely need a lawyer if the numbers are huge. You should also absolutely consult a lawyer if you suspect the contractor forged your signature, stole your identity, or used your personal bank information to run up unauthorized charges. That crosses deeply into serious criminal fraud territory. Right now, it might feel like you're the only person who ever fell for a smooth-talking guy with a fancy truck and a great pitch. You aren't. Hard-working people get taken advantage of every single day by dishonest contractors who see a chance to grab some quick cash. The law recognizes that this happens. That's exactly why we've civil courts to force them to pay, bonding companies to act as a financial safety net, and criminal courts to punish outright thieves. You don't have to just sit there and accept the loss. You have an absolute roadmap to fight back. What is the most ridiculous excuse a contractor ever gave you for showing up late or completely disappearing from a job? Tell me down in the comments. If this breakdown helped you understand the exact steps to hunt down a shady contractor and track down your missing cash, pass this video along to a buddy who is currently stressing over a half-finished renovation project. Make sure you subscribe to Scribble Law so you always know the actual rules of the game before a smooth-talking scammer tries to drain your bank account.